The sun had just risen over the sleepy town of Evergreen, casting a warm glow over the snow-covered streets. Helen sat by her window, sipping tea and staring out at the frozen landscape. She had spent the last few days holed up in her cozy cabin, nursing a cold and trying to shake off the lingering exhaustion of the holiday season. But today was the first day of the new year, and she was determined to make it a fresh start. Helen opened her journal and began to write down her New Year's resolution. This year, I will learn to play the piano. She had always been envious of those who could effortlessly tickle the ivories, conjuring up beautiful melodies with ease. But for Helen, music had always been a mystery, a world she had never quite been able to enter. As she wrote, the doorbell rang. It was her neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, bearing a plate of freshly baked cookies and a basket of homemade jam. I heard you were feeling under the weather, Mrs. Jenkins said, beaming with concern. I thought maybe some warm treats might help lift your spirits. Helen thanked her neighbor and settled in to enjoy the cookies and jam, feeling grateful for the small kindnesses that made life in Evergreen so special. But as she ate, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more she needed to do, some challenge she needed to take on. And then it hit her. She would learn to play the piano. Not just any piano, but the old upright that had been gathering dust in the corner of her living room for years. She had always been too intimidated to touch it, fearful of making a mistake or sounding terrible. But now, with the new year stretching out before her like an open road, she felt a sense of determination wash over her. Over the next few weeks, Helen spent every spare moment practicing on the old upright. She started with simple melodies, gradually working her way up to more complex pieces. It wasn't easy. Her fingers were stiff and clumsy at first, and she often found herself getting frustrated with her own mistakes. But she persisted, driven by a sense of curiosity and wonder that had been missing from her life for too long. As the weeks passed, Helen noticed changes in herself. She felt more confident, more alive, as if she had discovered a new part of herself that she never knew existed. And when she played the piano, she felt like she was transported to another world, one where anything was possible, and beauty was just a few notes away. And so, as the year wore on, Helen continued to play, her skills improving with each passing day. She started to perform for her neighbors, who were amazed by her talent. And she even began to teach others, sharing her love of music with the community. As the snow melted and the days grew longer, Helen looked back on her New Year's resolution with a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had learned to play the piano, yes, but she had also discovered a new side of herself, one that was creative, expressive, and full of life. And as she sat by her window, sipping tea and gazing out at the now-thawed landscape, she knew that this new year was going to be filled with many more wonders and discoveries to come. What is Helen's New Year's resolution? Helen's New Year's resolution is to learn how to play the piano. Why does Helen want to learn how to play the piano? Helen has always been envious of those who could effortlessly play the piano and conjure up beautiful melodies with ease, and she wants to learn how to do the same. What is Mrs. Jenkins' gift to Helen? Mrs. Jenkins brings over a plate of freshly baked cookies and a basket of homemade jam as a gesture of kindness to help lift Helen's spirits. What realization does Helen have while eating the cookies and jam? Helen has a sudden urge to learn how to play the old upright piano that has been gathering dust in her living room for years. How does playing the piano affect Helen? Playing the piano brings Helen a sense of confidence, aliveness, and wonder, and she feels like she is transported to another world where anything is possible and beauty is just a few notes away.